In today's video, we're going to be making D-Day.
Oh my god!
But not just any LEGO D-Day. We're mixing LEGO with real-world material, creating a realistic LEGO D-Day Moc. There will be tank assaults, fortress defenses, and of course beach landings. Will the German army be able to hold Omaha Beach against the American invasion? Find out in today's video. And be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and stick around to the end for today's giveaway. Now let's get into LEGO World War II D-Day. This is United States President FDR. Oh, sorry, my bad. This is US President FDR, my favorite US president, who currently is under a lot of pressure. For you see, a certain mustachioed man in Europe is causing a lot of problems.
Not again.
And he just so happens to be allied with the Japanese.
Or what?
Who up until now have been content committing war crimes against the Chinese. But now they set their sights on America, and, well, you know the rest. So FDR has been dragged into this war against Brickler, and his allies are not doing so hot. The Soviets are currently dealing with a mass casualty situation across the Eastern Front. Deadly city street fighting has ravaged their army. And they've just barely managed to drive off the Germans. Without adequate pressure from the West, the Germans will return and finish the job. The British, on the other hand, are stuck fighting brutally hot battles in Africa. The German Africa Corps is stuck in hard, fighting from the brilliant tactical mind of Erwin Rommel, aka the Desert Fox. General Montgomery's losses are brutal, and his soldiers fighting far from home. But they're not the only allies far from home. The French have raised their battle flag high into the air. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong battle flag. There we go. There's the French battle flag. Suffice it to say, the Allies were pressuring FDR a great deal, who understood he needed to open up another front in the war. That's where this gentleman comes in, Dwight Eisenhower, future president of the United States, who needed to now make his legacy by landing troops on the Western Front. And that's where today's build comes in. You see, this is your average cringe lord D-Day.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
You've got your German bunker, you've got your Allied soldiers invading, but it's just not realistic enough. That's why we're gonna be using real dirt. Then we're gonna mix that dirt with real water, baby. And in doing so, we're going to be creating a realistic LEGO D-Day using real world materials with LEGO. And hopefully it'll be enough to defeat Brickler. Hi! But before we create Omaha Beach, why don't we make Eisenhower here a navy with which to assault with?
It's got to be the best part I've ever seen.
For his amphibious invasion. That's where this bad boy comes into play. 900-piece Moc of pure steel battleship. Let's go ahead and build this bad Larry. And there she blows! A beautiful battleship, but she needs a crew. Now that we've got some sailors behind this ship, we can now float her. But you might realize that this is a bit more of a modern battleship than a World War II battleship, so let's make some adjustments. These side missiles, they gotta go. These other modern missiles also sadly gotta go. I promise one day I'll make you into modern glory again, big boat. And then helicopters weren't really around during World War II, so let's change the helipad into a tank transport. We can bring some Shermans onto the beach that way. But everything else about the ship seems a-okay. We've got one lifeboat, so they better not collapse or we'll have the Titanic on our hands. One large main gun at the front, sonar and radar capabilities, and my favorite part, the little anchor that goes down into the water. So the captain here goes ahead and christens his ship, and then has a meeting with Eisenhower. He explains to the general that while the battleship is great, it most certainly will not be able to land troops on the beaches. That's where this Moc, oh god, this Moc comes into play. Let's go build some D-Day landing craft. hold on a second. Amphibious invasions can take a lot of manpower. That's why I use Whatnot to replenish my minifigure forces. Whatnot is an auction site, similar to eBay. However, everything is live streamed like Twitch. And I'm going to be live on there on July 13th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, giving away minifigures to you guys, including this Captain Rex, this incredible custom Mandalorian minifigure, and this custom Navy SEAL minifigure. On top of that, I'm going to be auctioning off all of these different LEGO minifigures from Star Wars to Medieval Knights to everything in between. Whatnot also sells everything else under the sun too, including Pokemon cards, which is one of my favorite things to shop for on Whatnot. And if you use my link in the description below, you will get $15 off your very first purchase if you sign up using the link. Use that $15 to cop yourself some minifigures on my stream, or hang around to try and win the giveaways. Either way, I'll be hanging out for a few hours, chatting with y'all and selling some LEGO. So go follow me on Whatnot, link in the description below to get $15 for free, and I'll be live on Whatnot on July 13th at noon Eastern Standard Time. Bookmark my show. Now let's get back into some World War II D-Day action. Here we have it, folks. Right beside our battleship is going to be the Command Higgins boat here. It totes dual 50 cals on the front, lifesaver and fire extinguisher, emergency equipment, the old red, white, and blue, baby. And what makes this the Command Higgins boat is a Willys Jeep actually fits in the front here, and US Command is going to utilize this to set up a forward operating base. But Eisenhower has constructed additional landing craft as well. 2 more LCVP Higgins boats. These two suckers are identical. Dual Browning 30 cals on the front, a command position for soldiers to drive the boat, and of course, unloading ramp. Now I think Eisenhower and his admirals have done a fantastic job building up a US fleet for the D-Day invasion. However, I'm not entirely sure these puppies are seaworthy. So before we send our boys into the deep blue, maybe we should test out these boats.
A few moments later.
Let's start with the command boat, and we're gonna have Eisenhower on this bad Larry. Don't sink. Oh, it's kind of working. Nope, she's capsizing. No! The Jeep is starting to float a little bit. Eisenhower is still dry though, so I mean, like, that's something, but yeah, this is very Titanic-esque. Here she goes. No! The Jeep floats better than the command boat. We got the 2 LCVPs. We're gonna have the 2 admirals inside each. These boats, I believe, were designed by DaleyBricks, so I have high hopes because he makes amazing sets. The one on the left is starting to take on water. Oh, now the right one is too. Oh no. They're not airtight. This might bode poorly for our realistic Moc. I hope they don't sink in the Moc too. Our boy Jeff is gonna be in the battleship.
My name's Jeff.
Let's see. Oh no! Oh, she immediately capsized. Oh no, Jeff! We gotta get someone out here to save him. This fighter plane ought to do the trick. Oh no. Eisenhower and his navy ironically need to dry off. So while they do that, let's check in on the German army. Brickler establishes Erwin Rommel as the general of the Atlantic Wall defenses. Rommel's first point of business is to fire the commander in charge of the Blitz. Easy peasy. He then hires lead scientist Dr. Schlieffen to develop new technologies for the defenses. Schlieffen quickly researches and develops prototype weapons. He makes howitzers, large tonnage weapons to fire down the beaches and at the ships of the oncoming allies. But they won't just be firing these. Nebelwerfers. To maximize fire and spray down the enemy, coastal guns are also ready to fire down from the cliff walls at oncoming LCVP Higgins boats. I shouldn't have dropped that. We also have a variety of different flak guns here, both anti-aircraft guns, like these two, and one like this one here, which has been remounted for anti-tank. And we have an additional anti-tank gun, a PaK 38, capable of destroying most Sherman tanks. And finally, a little motorcycle with passenger sidecar. Dr. Schlieffen has certainly outdone himself with the number of weapons that he has managed to develop. D-Day will certainly be the day of days, but it's up to Rommel to develop more defensive positioning for his troopers to inhabit. That's where these come into play. A giant trench and bunker Moc. Let's go assemble this, and then we'll be ready to build our realistic World War II D-Day Moc.
the next day.
Alright, so I've built multiple bunker structures here, and this is part one of it. These are actually different sections of a trench system, and what's cool is you can connect the different trenches together and form different map layouts with each square. So for example, I have this bunker, and I have this flat gun trench. Whack them together, and then have one complete trench system. So I'll go ahead and attach the other parts too. Et voila! Now we have a beautiful and glorious trench system ready for the Germans to inhabit on the beaches. But that's not all we've got. We also have this wonderful German command bunker. This puppy comes with a massive coastal gun on the top, sandbag positionings at the entrance point, a movable wall here which we can lower in order to get more troops inside, gun firing positions on top of the bunker, sandbags in the back to prevent flanking, and of course a vault door in the back as the main entranceway. These two Mocs are going to fit so many German soldiers. Speaking of which, I'm thinking it's time that Eisenhower and Rommel assemble their respective armies. Our two armies are now prepped and ready to square off against one another. The Allies are comprised of Americans, Australians, British, New Zealanders, French, and so many more nations coming together, including, of course, their brave sailors and a few paratroopers that are going to be dropping behind enemy lines the night before. The German military is made up mainly of Wehrmacht soldiers, but they also have a small artillery corps with them and a few elite Fallschirmjägers, plus one itty-bitty Panzer Grenadier. Let's go to Lowe's and buy us the supplies for the battlefield.
We at Lowe's. Let's get some dirt.
Alright boys, we got a wide variety of tools for this job. This long container will hold our water, soil, and sand. Okay, just doing a little planning here. This is going to be the upper trenches. I think the American battleship is going to be too large, so it might have to be outside the Moc, which then leaves this area here to be beaches and water.
Spraying him with dirty brown water.
It's going to be hard because we need to make the dirt airtight so the water stays over here. That's why I bought Flex Seal.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Now let's start molding this thing and see what we can do. Alright boys, we've got the first layer of dirt down. We're going to build up a hill on this side, so this is raised for the bunker. But here, I'm going to cut up this tarp and lay it down, then spray it with Flex Seal to try and make it waterproof, then add sand on top of that to make the beach, then add the water. We'll see if that works. Okay, it's a lot like spray paint. Oh no! It takes 48 hours to dry. I didn't read the instructions.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Let me try and continue with just the tarp, no Flex Seal. Alright, the sand is tightly packed down. And then further back here, we've got all the dirt ready. And I think, honestly, the bunker blends in really, really nicely there. So adding the extra fortress in the back will look cool. So let's start trying some water and testing this dam to see if it actually breaks or if it holds the water. This is important. I think that will hold. Okay, now we add the bigger fortress in, and that fits perfectly into the rest of the bunker. Then we kind of blend it with the dirt a little bit more, so it's not so obvious. Now we gotta start adding the armaments. My cat's really into the water. Girl, what are you doing? My other one has made a nest inside of the netting here. Okay, this is what we're doing. First defensive armament, tank traps, baby. Let's set these up on the beach. Alright, that is looking fire. Yes, sir. It's like a miniature D-Day. Well, I guess that's literally what it is. Now, I also have these custom LEGO sandbag tiles. I absolutely love these things. They're super customizable. Highly recommend buying these. Let's set some up. There we go. Now we got a front line of sandbags for German soldiers to fire behind. And I bought these bamboo sticks. I thought we could cut them up and make little trench bottoms and put them in the dirt and dig our own trenches. We could give it a try. I don't know how well this will work. It's not all that I envisioned. In fact, it's quite less than I envisioned, but it's good enough. We'll keep it. Now, I also bought some Spanish moss with which to add some camouflage to this bad boy, so let's get that done. Et voila, this Spanish moss. We're kind of using it as camouflage for the trenches, as well as almost hedgerows that we can hide some artillery pieces behind. So why don't we start actually putting in some artillery for the Germans here? Let's get it. And there we go. Artillery cannons positioned throughout the map now, Nebelwerfers, as well as some munition stockpiles. Now I think it's time we start putting down the German army in their defenses for D-Day. The German soldiers are in place. I've also hidden 3 different Greyhound dogs across the map. See if you can spot them all in the comments below. First of all, we've got the front line at the beach. There's one MG42 at each sandbag line with feeders going into them. MP40 soldiers, Kar 98Ks, and a couple bayonet soldiers who I think we're gonna have fighting off US troops. Overall, I think the front line looks really good. Then we get the back line here, where we've got a Panzerschreck, so I think I'm gonna have the Sherman coming up the beach this way. Soldier throwing a stick grenade. Here's the bunker, which you can't actually really see in, so I didn't put any soldiers in it. We're just gonna assume there are soldiers in it. Fallschirmjäger soldier coming forward. I also put a little bit of barbed wire to block the path that's going up to this AA gun over here, as well as a soldier inside of that. We've got another MG42 next to it, and a couple soldiers in a scout car coming forward to reinforce the front line. Throughout the trenches, we have a number of things going on. First of all, many Wehrmacht soldiers moving to the front lines to reinforce, so they're going across these wooden planks and through the trenches below to get forward. We've got our 2 flak guns being operated by German soldiers, a couple backline troops doing suppressive fire.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang, bang.
And we have one German pioneer below fixing a cave-in in the trench line. Now, actually, in the trenches here, we do have some rooms. This room right here is actually a medical bay, so there's a couple troopers getting healed up. Then if we go over here, remove the bike, and then lift up this platform, we've actually got an armory filled to the brim with guns. Back here at our fortress, we have a Pak 38 firing with a crew, as well as a nice little spotter right there. Here's the backline flak gun, and our little homemade trench is stashed with weapons, as well as one soldier who's cowering in the background. Up top over this way, we have ourselves the Panzer Grenadier providing cover fire, and another soldier up top here firing the anti-tank gun. To the right of the fortress, we've got the Nebelwerfer being loaded up one by one. Now we can actually open up the fortress here, and inside is Erwin Rommel with a miniature little D-Day map right here that he is commanding. And then the other half over here is actually a small barracks with beds, and one soldier who got out of bed a little bit late. Now it's time for the Allies to start their assault, and I brought out quite the arsenal for which they can do that with. We know these boats don't float very well, so we're gonna kind of have to wedge them into the sand, I think. That works. That's nice. Okay, cool. Command boat down. Another one. And another one. That actually looks so fire. Now, the Sherman tank will go right over here. So let's angle this a little bit more. Now the Panzerschreck has a clear shot. Now we've also got 2 Willys Jeeps. One is standard with a 30 cal on the back. The other is the command Jeep. All right, command Jeep is going in the command boat and going to be dismounting from it. The other Jeep can go on this sandhill and will be firing. One thing really cool about IRL mocks is you can actually make the tank tracks in the sand as if it was actually driving on the sand before and leaving the tracks. That's so fire! All right, I'm gonna put down the US soldiers. And it's done, baby. US troopers are on the battlefield. Raina, stop drinking the blood of the Americans. Okay, I honestly think this might be the greatest D-Day mock I have ever built. Using real life material has opened up so many cool ways to stick soldiers in this mock. So first of all, we have our boats with soldiers on each of the 30 cals. Also put Eisenhower in the main flagship boat. I know he wouldn't be in a boat on the battlefield, but it's just fun. And we had Rommel in a bunker, so like, it's fair. And then here's the last boat here. The infantry boats have a number of dead soldiers thrown about them. They clearly got hit pretty hard by MG42 fire. And then we've got our US soldiers moving up the beaches. Equipped with M1 Garands, as well as Thompsons. Comment down below if you know who this legend with the Claymore is, as well as M1 carbines, firing from tank traps. A number of soldiers have obviously been shot down, including our Aussie friend over here who took a nasty little headshot. And someone got burned by the Flammenwerfer. An airborne trooper clearly landed on the beach last night and is joining the fray. More troops moving up, firing their Thompsons as they go. Here's the Jeep providing backup fire. A BAR soldier over here is moving up with ammo boxes. And then a Browning 50 cal down below here is being fired up the beachhead. A British commando is in the front lines, stabbing a German with the tip of his bayonet. A US demo man over here is trying to blow up a piece of barbed wire. And this is what I mean by having real world materials being awesome. We could just stick soldiers' legs in the sand like that and it looks incredible. Same goes for over here. There's just a million different ways to place dead bodies on this map. And in the way back lines over here, we have one last airborne trooper from the night before who has flanked the Nebelwerfer and is taking out the crewman. But there's no dead bodies in the water, so go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of pepper on there. There we go. Now we got a real D-Day Moc going.
I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
Once again, I think this might be the best Moc I've ever built in LEGO. And it's not even completely LEGO. It's a lot of real world material, obviously. But there's something just incredible about the way the two materials end up blending together to make just an insane looking battlefield. What do you guys prefer? Blended Mocs like this or strictly LEGO?
Oh, mate! Daily! Oh, mate, you've done well. Whilst I would love to say 3, I'm gonna have to be honest, and I'm gonna have to give it this is a 10 out of 10. This is the best I've ever seen you do. It's incredible. In fact, it's actually gobsmacking. Mate, I'm actually dead impressed. Bye-bye.
As it is right now with the American force coming forward, the German army likely does not stand a chance. However, the Third Reich will be returning to the battlefield, this time with a number of tanks, perhaps to create a bulge-like wedge formation within the US Army's newly defined front lines in the Battle of the Bulge. Remember, boys, to tune in on July 13th for my Whatnot stream where I'll be giving away a number of Legos. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and comment down below what you thought of this D-Day Moc. Thanks for watching.
Mate, I'm actually dead impressed.
I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.